Namaste, welcome everyone onto my educational channel. Today we are going to discuss about concept of birth, death, cycle and liberation phenomena. Actually, birth, death cycle is a samsara chakra, means the continuous cycle of birth, life, death and rebirth, and it is experienced by the jivatma, that is the individual soul, while liberation is moksha from its endless cycle. So let's discuss about how it can be achieved through step-by-step process. So the role of mind in bondage and liberation. The mind alone is the cause of human beings bondage and liberation. The mind is the pivot of human destiny. When it is attached to the sense object, it binds the Jivatma to the physical realm. When it is purified through knowledge and detachment, it leads to liberation. Thus, the bondage or bandhan and liberation moksha are mental states determined by how the mind identifies itself, either with the transient body, that is the Jivatma, or with the eternal self, that is the Paramatma. Compositions and journey of the Jivatma through the three bodies, that is the Sthul Sharir, Shushma Sharir and Karan Sharir. So first we discuss the what about the Sthul Sharir, that is the gross body or physical body. The Sthul Sharir is a compound of the five gross elements serving as the seat of consciousness. This physical body is merely the outer vehicle for experience, born of the five gross elements, sustained by food and perished by nature. When death occurs, this body is discarded, but the Jivatma does not die. It moves on carrying its subtle and causal body. Next is Shushma Sharir, that is subtle body. The Atma, accompanied by the four subtle Bhuta, Sukshma Bhuta, and Manas, mind, departs from one body to another as fast as thought, that is Manojava. When the Atma departs from the body due to exhaustion of karma, dehat karmatmakatvan, it is not visible to ordinary eyes. It can only be perceived by divine vision. It means the subtle body comprising the mind, that is the manas, intellect, buddhi, ego, ahankar, the 10 organs, they are the 5 karmendriya and 5 jnanendriya, prana, vital energy, that is the conscious entity, and tanmatras carries the karmic imprint, that is the samskar. It travels after death, shaping the next physical embodiment according to the stored karmas. Ego gives rise to the action. Action lead to the transmigration. And memory, that is the impression, persists across bodies. Thus, karma and ego perpetuate the cycle of rebirth. That is the Dehantar Gati. And Karan Shari, that is causal body or seed body. The Paramatma, that is Supreme Soul, has no origin, being eternal, but the individual soul, Purus, that is the Jivatma, arises from delusion, desire, aversion, and action. Karan Sharir is the seed body or root cause of existence, the subtle storehouse of karmic impressions, that is samskara, and delusive seed, that is avidya. It gives rise to individuality and sustain the I sense, that is the ahankar, that differentiate the jivatma from the paramatma. So as long as delusive seed, that is the ignorance or avidya, and exist in this karana sharir, that transmigration cannot stop. because it supplies the blueprint for the rebirth. Now, mechanism of rebirth, that is samsara chakra. In every womb, each being sustains itself through its own self and life force. None other governs it. This verse beautifully conveys the autonomous continuity of the Jivatma. Each being manifests according to its own karmic blueprint, carried in the causal or seed body, activated by prana. No external agent assigns the birth. It is self-driven by past deeds. Thus, birth, life, and death are not random, but the law governed transformation of the soul through its own karmic energy. Now, dissolution of bondage and attainment of liberation. So, as long as one is bound by rajas and tamas, the association of the sharir, the body, indriyas, senses, manas, mind, and the atma, soul, with the world continues endlessly. The cycle of repeated birth and death continues without end. Bondage persists due to rajas and tamas, which keep the mind outwardly engaged through karma and desire and ignorance. But when sattva predominates through knowledge, detachment, and right conduct, the mind becomes pure. The connection dissolves and the soul attains the liberation. So liberation arises from the absence of rajas and tamas and the exhaustion of the karmic impressions. A complete separation from all conjunction, never to be reborn again. So when the causal body or seed body or Karan Sharir is burnt by the fire of self-knowledge, the Atmagnan, karma ceases to germinate. The subtle and gross bodies fall away like worn out garments. The Atma, now free from conditioning, and merges with the Paramatma, pure infinite consciousness. Means for the attainment of liberation. So the following serves as means for attainment of liberation. That is the due devotion to the noble soul, shunning of the company of the wicked, observing sacred oaths and fast, pursuit of the rules of good conduct, compliance with the scriptural prescription, scriptural knowledge, liking for the lonely living, uh, detachment from the object of senses, striving for liberation, absolute mental control, and abstinence from the performance of acts leading to the good and sinful efforts, and destruction of effects of past action, desire to get away from the worldly trap, absence of egoistic disposition, being afraid of contact of the soul, the mind, and the body, concentration of the mind and intellect in the soul, and the review of the spiritual facts. So, all this can be attained by the virtue of the constant remembering of the fact that the soul is different from the body and the latter has nothing to do with the former. The conclusion or closing message of all this description is that the Jivatma, under the wheel of ignorance, identifies with its body. That is the Stula Sharir, the body you see and touch. Sushma Sharir, your mind, thoughts, and energy. See, energy system. And Karan Sharir, your deep subconsciousness and karmic storehouse and experiences the samsara. Through karma, it keeps revolving in birth and death, sustained by the subtle and causal bodies. Through Vivek, that is discrimination, Vairagya, detachment, and Atma Jnana, that is self knowledge, the ignorance dissolves. With the destruction of Rajas and Tamas and karmic residue, the Jivatma realizes its oneness with Paramatma, attaining liberation, the state of eternal freedom. Thank you.